Welcome to Conversations with Toy, a blogcast tackling life one episode at a time. This is the time to air out life's craziest moments. This space is all about speaking about life's hang-ups and ways in which we can leave better than when we started. Topics are all about ways we can find space to be better in life, love, mental space, and health.
Happy Friday. I hope you have had the most amazing week because you are deserving of that. Welcome. I am Toy, your podcaster. Welcome to Conversations with Toy. I'm not only a podcaster, I am a content creator, freelance writer, blogger, influencer. What else? I think I wear, social media. I do social media for several companies. Love what I do. But the two hats that I wear the most and that I love the most, I would say, is being a wife and mother of 3 amazing children. And I am welcoming you to this week's podcast. If you missed last week, we talked about a little bit of Christmas prep and about how if you're not feeling your best, which we're going to talk about a little bit more this week as well, because if you are not feeling your best, meaning this season is supposed to be holly and jolly, you're supposed to be smiling and happy, all these different things, and maybe you, for whatever reason, maybe just for whatever reason, you're not feeling as jolly and holly and about all the things. You are not alone. There are quite a few of people, and I say people because I want to include myself, who aren't feeling their best. The struggle is real. Everything is real. And I want to send all kinds of love. One thing that I talked to my therapist about this week, I'm just going to jump right into it, is feeling uncomfortable with the fact that I should be holly and jolly. Now, don't get this twisted. Christmas is one of my favorite holidays. So it's not the holiday itself. It's just the things that are happening around me that it's not making me question, but it's making me consider like what is going on, because normally I don't necessarily have this feeling normally around Christmas. I will say it happens maybe a week or two after Christmas is when this pops up. But my therapist reminded me that I'm probably going through the beginning stages of my seasonal depression. And I'm grateful that he said that, because I kept debating, was what I was feeling. And it is, right? It has to be. That's what it needs to be. And I'm going to work through that. I'm extremely positive right now, even with all those things happening mentally. And I'm aware that this is a temporary move, and I'm not in the thick of it where it feels overwhelming. It hasn't gotten to that point, but nonetheless, I am fully aware that it's not going to be a forever thing. And so that piece gives me hope in knowing that it will be okay. After a while, like the old people would say, after a while, you understand it better by and by. And so as I've gotten older, I've recognized those things. I've recognized some of the lessons that I learned. I talked last week about missing my great-grandparents, and just, when you're around and you're grieving, especially when the holidays come around, because again, you're grieving the presence of people, not presence, but the presence of people that you love, that you would hope to be here and seeing how you're living, and you get to see how they're doing. Like, grief is such a hard thing to deal with because it comes in spurts. Sometimes your grief says, I'm so grateful that they're in a better place. And it's just like, we'll see them again and we're all right. And then the other part of it becomes feeling like it's almost selfish to want them to not be where they are and wanting them to be here with you. And I think that's extremely normal and very much healthy. I think this happens to quite a few, if not a lot of people. And sometimes we tell ourselves that we shouldn't have certain feelings, but the reality of it is you just got to sit in it. My therapist awakened that message to me this week when he was just like, you have to sit in that. You have to stop acting as if the things that are happening around you is just like normal, or that you got to stop thinking that certain things are just so quote unquote normal, to the point where you don't allow yourself to be sad. It's almost like we condition ourselves, our bodies, our mindsets to kind of just like go on and act like nothing happened, like we're supposed to be some type of superhero. But reality is that we're human, and in a human experience, we know sometimes you're sad. So before we continue on this podcast, let's talk about a few things that has happened this week. I am on such a, what's the feeling? A happy feeling. Because this week I was able to see Hezekiah Walker. Now, again, I've said this before. I am a PK, which is a preacher's kid. My mother was a choir director, and my father plays the drums. And so it is not beknownst to me that I have had nothing but so much exposure to so many good music. As a general rule, I've been exposed to a lot of good music of all kinds. But when you're in a house with a choir director who happens to also be the choir director of the youth choir, which means that she was my choir director specifically, you get to understand and hear different gospel artists. And so my mom always wanted to find songs that were quote unquote relevant, but not like, it's not like today's stuff where we're trying to find like, let's find a rap song. Like, no, it was like, let's find songs that resonate, but also would minister. And so Hezekiah Walker was one of those artists in his own right that we listen to. And there's a song, I'll Make It, that was my solo in the choir, and he sang it. So I was at Soulful Christmas, which is a super celebration of just bringing interfaith of people coming together to celebrate the meaning of the Christmas season. And they honor a gospel artist every time. And this time they honored Hezekiah Walker, or Bishop Hezekiah Walker. And it was a beautiful thing to see. It was a beautiful thing to be in the space. One of my best friends, we went together and we had a time. One thing I've learned as I've gotten older is something about being able to fellowship. And I know this is like a thing this definitely going to be a church, 5 seconds church rant and how we talk. But it's like, it's nothing like fellowshipping with one another and being able to be comfortable with each other, where you can be with your friend and they could be worshiping and you can worship, and everybody's, you're crying and you're giving whatever you have on your heart and your mind to God. And I really felt such a huge relief going to this show. I really did. And I didn't have any anticipation. I just was excited to just see someone that I had grown up and listened to their music. Hezekiah Walker's songs have got me through some of the toughest of times. And so I was just grateful to be in the building. But being with her and just worshiping and to praising and like opening my mouth and giving God glory, for those who, again, have been into the church space, you know what I'm talking about. It felt amazing. So that's one of the biggest highlights of this week. I would say lows of this week is not working out the way that I should. Yeah. That's one of my lows for this week. I just am like, what are you doing, girl? You got to get yourself together and get yourself together ASAP. So I'm working on that. I am definitely working on that. Another highlight for this week was attending Disney on Ice in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I'm going to say this now. I've been to Disney on Ice plenty of times. I work and have done things with Disney on Ice to promote shows and things of that sort. And this was the first time that we ever sat as close as we did, but also had an experience where we were able to interact with the, I want to say cast, because they are acting. And it was such an amazing experience. Like us being on that stage, or I guess on the side of the ice, the ice skating rink, while we were interacting with the stars and the actors and actresses. It just was like an amazing experience. And I was just so grateful. Like the whole time I'm smiling from ear to ear. I'm super excited. I'm super hyped. I'm singing along and I'm telling myself, look at the blessings that you have. Like, I don't take what I do as content creation, all those things, I don't take that for granted. I don't take the moments that I can create for my children and myself, for my family. I don't take any of that for granted. So I was just in awe of the goodness and the greatness that we just experienced. So those two events were the events of the highs for this week. Have I watched any TV? I'm going to say no. I can't even put into words anything that I've watched. And crazily enough, I haven't read a book. Took a little 5-second break. I got to get back on it because I only got but a couple more days until the end of the year, but I believe I'm going to hit my 100. Also, if you've been following me on socials, I was debating whether or not I was going to do Vlogmas. I had not done it before. I've been seeing the Vlogmas of years before. I had never done it. First of all, I have a YouTube channel that I hadn't been using other than just to promote the podcast. So what I do is I delay the podcast on YouTube because I allow it to stay on, all the things, and then I post it on YouTube a week later. And So I have over 200 something episodes of the podcast over there, correct? Right. Okay. But when it came to just doing like vlogging and just creating content for YouTube, I never used it for that because I was always like, again, it's the fear of being on camera. Now I don't want to say fear. It's not necessarily a fear. It's just the knowledge that if you're going to vlog, you have to be on camera. You have to do voiceovers. There's a lot of things that has to be done. And I wasn't at the time, I wasn't ready for that. I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. And then I'm like, okay, I've been getting consistent on making sure I do the weekend recaps. So I've been doing that. And that's like my weekend. That was usually my post, usually on Sundays. And if it was late, then it would be on a Tuesday, but that would be it. And then I said to myself, I've been saying that I want to do Vlogmas. There's no reason why I can't do Vlogmas. First of all, I have so many things that I go to for Christmas and holidays. Why wouldn't I do it? It's almost like an easy hit. So I have been consistent. Today is day number 12. And I have been consistent on posting for Vlogmas, making sure that I can do whatever I need to do to get the content out. And it doesn't bother me at all. It's literally not the issue of the vlogging itself, it's the editing. And I thought that would be cumbersome, but I'm like, you know what? Some days I'm going to edit heavy, and then some days I'm like, this is the raw behind the scenes. So here it is. But nonetheless, stepping out of my comfort zone to do something that I've been having on my list to do feels extremely good. I feel extremely accomplished. And I know to somebody else, they might be like, well, I've been doing vlogging my whole life and I've been making, hey, that's you. I am the writer, okay? I enjoy writing. So when it comes to blogs, I'm going to get blogging done. But when it comes to vlogs, which is the video part of your life and you're showing different things behind the scenes, whether you're at an event, it can be overwhelming. And that's where I'm at. I'm allowing myself to be comfortable while also recognizing that I don't have to do anything too much extra, that I can just show up and use my gift and keep it moving. So that is what I've been doing. So if you have not been on my YouTube, maybe you didn't even know I had one, listen and go ahead at Toy Time Blog. My handles are usually all the same. And it just works. And I'm grateful for my consistency. It makes me feel proud that I stepped out and did something that I've been wanting to do for a while, but just had not done, because I don't want to be in life where you make this excuse like, I wish I could, or I would like to do. And then we allow these I wish I could and I would like to do to keep going and going and going. And they keep adding up and they keep getting bigger, but there's no resolution. That's where I'm at with this. That is what I want to try to walk away from, like getting more comfortable with being okay with being uncomfortable, and then making something out of that. That's where I'm at right now. And that feels good. I do want to talk about a few things that I've been seeing on these internet streets, because a lot of things has been going on. First of all, we have the DC squatter, who this young lady moved into this Airbnb and then just kind of took it over and thought that she had tenant rights, and thankfully was found out that she doesn't. Listen, Airbnb is supposed to be like another version of a hotel without all the perks of it, meaning you're in somebody else's space. You are quote unquote renting that space for the specified a time. And then, you're going about your way. Here's what Airbnb people need to do. Stop signing over month leases, because the second you hit a 30 days in any space, you can then claim that you live there. Stop allowing people to send mail to your home because you're setting yourself up. There's a lot of things that we should not, could not, and would be not doing if we thought about it. So just want to put that out there. And then number two, the sad story that she's giving, I had this happen, I had that happen. That doesn't give you the right to do what you want to do because you had bad things happen. So when you find a door, you're just gonna kick that door in, waving your 4-4 and not leaving. Like, that's basically what we rolling with. Like, you can't do that. So thankfully she was found to get her behind up out of there. Like, it's time for you to pack it up, ma'am, and be about your way, because you can't take over somebody's property on the strength of, oh, I had all this bad stuff happen and now I'm in this space. I feel like there shouldn't be a problem and I'm doing the right thing. And I feel like it has to be some level of like deceptiveness to you to have a straight face while you're telling the story, while you're in somebody else's space it's not yours, trying to have squatter rights. I don't understand the whole reason for squatter rights, because oftentimes, again, it's these people that are coming into the property to take it by force. It's not like the owner didn't knock on the door or to try to communicate. Like, all these things happen, but again, you have to sometimes take things by force. And I just really wish we would get on the other side of like, let me do something right because it's right. Not let me do something right because I know that if I don't, so and so is going to happen. Like, yes, we know consequences exist every single day. You show up at work late, you could get written up. You have this happen, this could be the next outcome. But at the end of the day, We got to start taking accountability. I have to actually go back and apologize because I said, oh, I hadn't watched anything, but I did watch. I did. I did. Did you? Because I did. I watched the Diddy documentary. Here's a few pointers I want to make out. It was well done. I honestly think that people might have thought that 50 Cent, when he did this documentary, was just was going to just come for his baby mom. But that's not what he went with. He didn't even really touch on her. He literally came with receipts, sources. It was well put together. It felt and is a full-fledged documentary. And it left and filled in some of the gaps of some things that we all were thinking or wondering about, and like cleared up a couple things. It also let me know that people are still yet trash in 2025, almost 2026, because some of the comments that I believe one or two of the jurors made, I said to myself, what are you talking about? Because did you not hear or see any of the things that we're talking about? The other part is that we already knew this, because this is just how life works. This is how the world works. You can fabricate any story. You can make anything happen. You can juice up a story. You can make it seem like it's larger than life if you control the narrative. And that's really all he's been trying to do and still wants to continuously doing. So that wasn't a shocking or eye opener. It's just the principle of like him saying the quiet part out loud, right? And again, I can't stress this enough. I don't understand why people want to record every single second. This is probably why when it comes to my vlogs, there seems like there's always like these little missing parts when I do the vlog, because it's like, I don't need to record like me going to the bathroom like Brene was doing. I don't need to do all these different things. I want to get you the meat and potatoes, get in, get out, and then be about your way, because you got more things to do than just sitting around watching the YouTube. So I understand the sentiment that her and other people have been having about it, but I just want to say, because I said earlier that I hadn't watched anything, and that's actually not true. I did go back. I did go and listen to and watch the Diddy documentary again. I can't stress this enough. I think it was well done. Personally, I just think that it was well done, and I felt like it was still yet really just in good taste. Now, some people are saying, like the Marlon Wayans of the world is saying, we don't do this to try to, shade other people. We're doing all this and doing that. But at the end of the day, you got to understand, this is a huge mogul, whole huge mogul that went down. Do you really believe in the heart of hearts that we're going to like step back and say, oh, we're not going to watch that? No, that's what we're here to do. So if you have not gotten a chance to watch the Diddy documentary, I think you should watch it. I don't think there's anything unless you literally are just finding out about Diddy today. I feel like a lot of things that he has been said about him, I think is spot on. I don't see any different for that. I feel like it is spot on. So since we are still in the Christmas spirit, and since we are still talking all things holiday, let's talk matching pajamas. Yeah, let's talk about that. I am a matching pajama type person. I am, and we are a matching pajama type family, right? And I love seeing the matching pajamas all up and down my timeline. I love seeing the pictures with them. It's a beautiful moment. Let me just say a couple things, okay? Everybody that you see wearing matched pajamas don't mean that their spirit is matching their spouse. Let me just say that one more time, because I know it's a little hard to understand. But everybody that's coupled up and wearing matching pajamas don't mean that their spirits are in line and they're matching each other's correct spirits. And I say that because there are so many people who are watching stuff like this. They're seeing this stuff up and down their timeline, and they're beating themselves up because they don't have that. And as a wife myself, I think that's a beautiful thing to want and desire those things. I also want you to just walk in some intentionality and let's give it a thought, because there are plenty of people who are wearing these matching pajamas and they are going home to torture situations. They're having spouses cheat on them, disrespect them. They have all kinds of stuff. So I need to preface again that you got to use discernment, because sometimes we get used to doing things because it's traditional, but you got to learn how to read a room, and you got to learn how to read where you are. I feel like sometimes we want to fake it until we make it, right? This generation says fake it until we make it. And it sounds good on paper, but in all reality, you might be setting yourself up for a bigger fall. you recognize that something is going on in the marriage, something's going on in your relationship. And I'm not telling you to just walk away and throw up in the towel. That's not what I'm saying. Because whatever your balance is, whatever it is you feel like you can put up with, I feel like you should do that. However, there are many people who really don't. I've heard this being said so many years, like you could be sleeping with the enemy, and people don't realize the reality of that is that you legitimately could be laying next to someone who does not have your best interest at heart. And so this holiday season, just use your good discernment. Use your discernment. Now, if you are in an abusive situation, you probably need to do a little fake it till you make it, because you need to develop a plan. Never try to do anything without a plan, because again, no matter, even with the best intentions, things can go left. But we're not talking about people who are being abused. We're talking about people who are willingly in relationships with people that they know don't mean them well. And so you put on these matching pajamas, so you hope that, when the new year comes, that there's going to be a change and that everybody's going to just put their best foot forward and everything is going to be okay. I'm here to tell you that that's a beautiful thing should it happen. But what if it don't? What if it don't? So you're wearing your match pajamas, you're pretending as if everything is okay, you're showing up and trying to at least attempt, right? But yet there's somebody in your space, somebody in your spouse's space who knows that all this cute Christmas pajamas is like, it doesn't make sense because it doesn't add up to the things that they're being told. You do realize that's how people cheat, right? Especially men. They'll say, oh, my wife is getting on my nerves, she's doing this and she's doing that. That's why you got to watch people who pick an argument to go out the door. Because sometimes they'll pick an argument so that they have enough strength to go do the things they ain't got no business doing. And if by doing that, it still allows them to get out and do what they want to do, then they'll do it. It's crazy, right? It's crazy how we live in a world where this type of behavior is acceptable, but it is. Do not get caught up in these Christmas pajamas to the point where you forget to keep your cool and calm about what you think you may be knowing or what you think that you see. Be very clear about that. Because as these days get bigger, these things on your timeline, which is your social media, will be becoming more and more increased. And it's one thing to have seasonal depression. There's another thing to make yourself go through it because you don't have something somebody else has. So, matching pajamas aesthetically are cute. Matching pajamas with a person that doesn't mean you well is a nightmare. Because it's going to take 5 parts of your strength to get you to the point where you can sit and be in the same room with somebody who you don't mean no well. It's one thing for a person to fake it. You can fake it for a long time. That don't mean that it's going to stick. And so many of people are in situations where, again, people show up as their best representative. They don't show you their real side because if they did, you would take them. And again, discernment is the ability to see things and hear things that are not being shown to you as straightforward, to be able to hear, to be able to react, and to be able to get a solution. That is discernment, right? And I feel like some of us, and I'm going to say this as a woman because that's who I am, is that so many of us women, we hope that the person will. So because we hope that the person will, they know that we're hoping because a person will. So they do just enough. You tell them, oh, you know what, you need to go to therapy. So they'll go literally right before something goes and you start to turn left. They know they're supposed to do certain things. They'll wait right before the second to try to, again, it's really a tactic to just stall. It's a stalling technique. It's a stalling method. Give you enough so you'll stay around. You get the comfortability of having you around, even though 90% of this time they could be sneaking off and being with somebody else. Here's another thing. And let me just also go beyond cheating, because I need us to understand that cheating is not just the end all be all, right? There are several other reasons why you might just use your discernment, and this whole matching Christmas thing might just be a pull and a tug. Because I had conversations with a couple people and they were just like, oh, I found my husband's pajamas, like he won't wear them, he'll wear them on that one day, and then it's like it's pulling teeth. It's like he never really liked it, never really wanted it. And listen, it could be just a preference. A lot of times when you're especially when you're in a marriage, there's a lot of things that you'll do because it excites and makes the other person happy. It don't always have to be about you. And so if that person doesn't necessarily like wearing these matching pajamas, but they wore it for you, take your win and then use your discernment on the back end, because it could be something way bigger than just these matching pajamas. And I'm here to tell you, it's going to pretty much be that. It's actually more than just what you think. You don't have to have somebody that's cheating on you to decide that this is not going to work for me, because disrespect comes in different ways. It comes in different ways. It comes in different levels. And oftentimes we try to tell ourselves that it can only be cheating. If he cheated on you, then it's time to back it up. No. It could be ignoring you. It could be not showing up for you emotionally. There's a lot of other reasons why somebody may want to call it off. All I'm telling you is that do not get caught up in these matching pajamas, because everything that's matchy don't match the right spirit. It don't always match the right spirit. And I've seen so many people justify like, oh, I'm going to do better. I'm going to lean in and I'm going to. Meanwhile, that person is doing you dirty. This is why discernment matters. This is exactly why. And stop. And I know this is hard to do, but the gaslighting that sometimes we allow, we know good and darn well that person said what they said, and then we play dumb. I had to get out of that phase. I have been doing this for years, because, when you get to kind of play like, oh, I didn't hear you. I don't know. That's what you said. I don't remember that. When you hide in that, it's that willful incompetence. You don't get nothing from it, because the other person, if they're not a good person, will use that against you. They will use that to their advantage. And please ask me how I know. Please ask me how I know. So now that we're done with the matching pajamas, wear your pajamas if that's what you want to do. You're grown, wear your pajamas. If you have a spouse that's adamant about not want to wear them, and you have children, it's okay to go ahead and get you some and get your children matching pajamas. Here's what I also want you to do. Take pictures. You're with a spouse. This spouse does not want to wear these matching pajamas. Don't make a big deal. Yes, it bothers you because this is something you want. You want it for the pictures. You want it for all this stuff. But take the pictures anyway of you, your children in these matching pajamas. First of all, mothers, please get in front of the camera. Get in front of it. Not behind it. Get in front of it. Because there's too many of us are taking pictures and we're doing the video, but we're not in it. Get in it. Get comfortable. It doesn't matter if your size is, you think you're bigger than you. None of that. Get in there. Number 2, wear it. And I'm not going to tell you not to let it bother you, because that would be a lie. You're going to let it bother you, but don't allow it to stop the joy that you have. See, here's the thing. I'm all about making Christmas magic. I think every person who loves Christmas is about doing that to some extent. You don't have to be a parent to do it. I think you see it more from a child's eye when you do become a parent, but you can create Christmas magic in the spaces around people around you. Okay. Just be clear about that, because some folks is running with this narrative that you can't, and that's a lie. Okay. So wear the Christmas pajamas because that's something that you want to do. Use your discernment, because sometimes when you go to post it, see, it don't even be about wearing it. It's about if you post it. So then you go to post it, and then God forbid your husband, your boyfriend, your boo did something that's going to embarrass you, because that happens a lot too. We don't talk about that enough, but it does happen, right? Wear the pajamas if that's what you choose to do. Be respectful of your other person if that's not something that they want to do. If you are that other person and this is not your thing, be mindful of the fact that it's a give and take. Put the pajamas on, take the pictures, and then find a way to move forward. But if this is just the last, the straw that broke the camel's back for you and you just can't do it, then don't. But don't get mad when we're going to say she, because I'm a woman, I'm a girl's girl, when she decides that she's still going to continue taking pictures with her and the kids and keep it moving. I heard of a story. I've talked about this story before. I don't know where I was. I don't know what I was doing, if I saw it on social media or I saw it in the news, but there was a young couple. They had a baby. The baby was in maybe 6 months, maybe possibly a year, but nothing more than that. And the baby unfortunately passed away. And so as the arrangements were being made and all the things was happening, the husband got really upset, because he's like, you're putting all these pictures in the obituary of, you and the baby, but there's none of me. She reminded him, you were too busy. You said you would do this. You didn't want to do that. So I'd never stressed you. And then now the baby is unfortunately passed. And now you're concerned about, having these photos. This is when you have to get some really thick skin about who you're, first of all, aligning with, because who you marry does matter. Don't let nobody tell you that. Don't let nobody tell you that, because you can go high or low with the person that you meet, or that you're getting married to, or you become one to. Don't let them people play with your face like that. It does matter. It does. And so as you're deciding, okay, my person just doesn't want to do the things that I want to do, it's fine. But there's a give and take, give and take, give and take. This is the person that you're choosing to do life with. That doesn't mean you have to like every decision, but the way that you handle the situation matters. For the men that do the most to make sure they don't look a certain way, they don't smile, they don't look like they're happy, there's a number of reasons for that. They're having conversations with someone else, or they're having conversations with their boys about the things that they're saying about you, and to come on that would just be another situation where y'all be like, well, wait, she's being fake, she wants this and want that, and I just gave it to her. Yes, you gave it to her, but if she used her discernment, she would know the writing might be on the wall. And I'm all for team save your marriage. I'm not against that. I'm just saying it's not everybody's cup of tea. And you got to be sure your anchor holds, like, what does it look like to actually see something as respectful if you're not experiencing that right now. If you could gift yourself one thing this holiday season that didn't cost anything, that didn't come with a price tag, what would that thing be? Let me give you some examples of what I mean. Sometimes we don't give ourselves enough grace. We want to do the biggest and the best of things, and we don't give ourselves enough grace. And if I could gift that to you, or if that was something you needed, then you need to get that. Try to get that to yourself. Another thing that you can gift yourself that doesn't require funds is letting go of the holiday grief. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to keep saying this, and I'm probably going to keep saying this every episode, and especially till we lead up to Christmas. This is one of the heaviest of times of the year, right? Thanksgiving starts it, Christmas ends it, New Year's seals it, right? And sometimes because our lives no longer align with certain people that we used to align with, that holiday guilt is real. And some are going to allow that holiday gift, or grief, I should say, to walk them back into situations they had no business being in the first place. I need you to let that go, and I need you to exchange that for something different, because having this grief to the point where it makes you go into situations you're not supposed to be in is not okay. So that's a gift you could gift that doesn't cost funds, because that takes a lot of energy to walk through. Another thing that you can gift yourself that doesn't require any funds is to recreate the joy inside of yourself. Now, again, my therapist told me this week to let that feeling happen when you're feeling overwhelmed, you're not feeling jolly. That's wonderful. But then you also need to be responsive of creating your own personal joy, because it's going to look different for everybody. So what does your personal joy look like for you? You can create that. Lastly, another example that things that you can gift yourself that doesn't cost money is gift yourself the spirit of rest. Now, it's hard to rest when bills are overdue. It's hard to rest when you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. I 100% get it. I've seen it. I get it. But the concept of allowing yourself the ability to rest is foreign to a lot of people. But we got to stop making it foreign. We got to make it reality, because you are deserving of rest. And rest and sleep are two different things. You can sleep and not get rest. You do need to rest to sleep. But I'm just telling you, rest is essential. Those are 4 examples of things that you could do to gift yourself something this holiday season that doesn't require funds. Yes, it may require more patience. It may require you to get quiet for a season and then try to reevaluate. There's a lot of things that it could do, but it shouldn't make you feel like you cannot create these things, that you don't deserve to have this. This was an easy 4 examples. Like, we have so many more. But be considerate of things that you don't or cannot buy with money that you may need this holiday season. You never know when you're going to need it, so store it. Store it. Okay? That is the end of the episode. I pray, as we're continuously getting closer and closer and closer, it's almost like I should kind of do a countdown. I may consider that. But in spite of all those things, again, please take care of yourself, because you are so deserving of taking care of you. And now, before I end for real, let me also just say, I know that we haven't even, wrapped all these gifts yet. I get all that, but I do want us to make sure that we're staying focused for 2026. I'm not going here and telling you what the theme is going to be for you. I don't care about all that type of stuff, because I'm going to tell you right now, whether you do a vision board, whether you do all kinds of different things, whatever you put out is going to come back. It is what it is. That's just the principle of all things. But you still should be trying to get a plan together right now to figure out what you're going to do for 2026. First of all, how are you bringing in 2026? Listen, going out to clubs is a beautiful thing if that's what you choose to do. Like if that's your era, that's where you're at right now. Hey, do you, just be safe. But also staying at home can be just as great as a turn up, whether you're doing it by yourself, whether you're doing it with friends, whether you're doing it with family. There's 1,001 ways to really celebrate the new year. But be very much intentional about what that looks like for you. How are you going to show up for yourself in 2026? If you failed yourself in 2025 in some area, more than one area, whatever the case may be, that's fine. But what are you going to do to show up for yourself in 2026? What are you going to do? And here's the thing. We don't wait until 2026. We don't wait until the ball drops. We don't wait until those things happen to start the process. We start now. We start writing things down. We start writing down our goals. We're figuring out a plan. Listen, I know we want to write goals down. I'm that goals girly. I love all those stuff. But what's the plan to get the goal? Because if you're writing the goals down, you got everything written down, but you don't have nothing that solidifies a plan, you may not be successful in completing it. So we're not going to wait until the ball drops. We're not going to wait until January 1st in the afternoon after we've nursed a hangover because you've been, drinking champagne and doing all the things. You also need to be aware that the plan planning starts now. You really have to think about and consider starting it now. You need that time to get your thoughts together, to get all the things in place, because it's going to take a lot of energy, a lot of mindset shifting, and that's not always easy. I'm telling you, I had a block mentally about working out and getting active, and this happens to the best of us. So if you think that you can just wing it without even no thought process behind it, I promise you 2026 is going to look just like it did 2025. But my goal for you is to have a better 2026, because you are deserving of those things, but we got to put the work in. Sometimes that work requires planning. Sometimes that work requires just getting up and getting it done. Whatever the case may be, we're lighting fires up, y'all, this year. 2026 is not going to be, it's going to be my year. No, I'm not concerned about whether it's going to be your year. It's going to be the year that you deserve by the effort that you put in it. Because some of y'all been screaming, it's going to be my year, my year, my year, and you ain't went nowhere mentally or emotionally. I need you to make it the best year that you can possibly have by starting off strong. And if you find yourself slacking off, don't give into that. Because that's really what it boils down to. You go one day, you don't go to the gym. The one day, you're like, you know what, I'll be all right, I'll get it tomorrow. Then about the fourth day, you're like, you know what, I don't care. I don't care. Like whatever size I'm going to be. But listen, get a plan. A plan. Okay, I know we got 2 weeks of Christmas, so we're not even in the mindset of New Year, but I feel like I need to encourage you to go ahead and be prepared for that New Year. Okay.
Thank you as always for joining me. And I know that even in the deepest or joyful conversations, that there's something we can learn and apply. Until next time, I hope that you are doing better. If not, we will be back to talk some more and handle it. Peace to you and yours. Stay grounded.